Have you wondered how to fall asleep fast naturally? The answer is to go to bed with no intent or motivation to make sleep happen. And if that makes you go, whoa, I never heard that before. How's that even going to work? That's contrary to everything I've heard. Perfect, because we're going to go over all that in this episode. Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm a sleep physician turned sleep coach and educator, and this is the first episode of our brand new series, Frequently Asked Sleep Questions, in which we're going to address the common question, how to fall asleep fast, naturally. And the answer is the effortless method, which is to go to bed with no trying, no desire to sleep, no intent to make sleep happen, no motivation to try to force sleep. This is the effortless way, and it leads us to fall asleep as fast as conditions allow. And hearing this for the first time, you probably will say, like, how do I even know that's true? That sounds contrary to everything I hear online. How do I even know that works? Well, actually, you can find the evidence much easier than you may think possible. Just think of your friend or your family member who sleeps really well. That person you're envious of, the person you despise because they fall asleep so fast and so easily. And imagine asking them, how do you do that? Like, how do you fall asleep so easily all the time? And they will spill the secret. They will tell you the secret. They will go, don't know. And that is the secret. They will shrug and say, don't know. And that displays the effortless method. Your friend or family member who falls asleep so fast, so easily, doesn't do anything to try to make sleep happen. Now, you probably sort of nod down and go like, yeah, that is true. That friend I know who falls asleep so fast and easily, they don't actually do anything. And maybe that's even what they've been trying to tell you. You don't have to do anything to sleep. Sleep is a passive and natural process. It just happens by itself. We're not trying to make it happen. However, you may also have an objection at this point. And the objection may go something like, everybody tells me to count sheep or to do box breathing or to take the supplement or to listen to soothing music or, turn the temperature lower in my bedroom, or the military method. Like, and then some people will swear by these things. Some people say like, no, this really worked for me. This totally worked for me. Like the military method works for me. And when you hear that, you can be confused. You can be like, well, Daniel said that effortlessness is the way, but this other person is telling me that they did this particular thing and that made them fall asleep really fast. How can we reconcile this two? That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to reconcile this two in a way that hopefully is really enlightening. Here's the thing. If we do anything and we think, oh, good, now I've done this, so now I don't have to do anything further, this will take care of sleep for me. And this can be, a supplement, a pill, soothing sounds, box breathing, military method, whatever it is. If we think, oh, how nice, I did this, and now I don't have to do anything further, this has taken care of sleep for me, guess what happens? We become effortless. We are now no longer going to deploy any effort. We're not going to be trying to sleep. And that's the magic. Whatever anybody has done to sleep and said, this really worked for me, what worked was actually doing nothing. What worked was effortlessness, the effortless way. Now, with that said, if I would go to bed right now without any motivation and intent to sleep and just close my eyes, I wouldn't fall asleep fast because I'm not sleepy. So there's some conditions for the effortless way to actually lead us to sleep. And that is that we have to have some sleep drive, right? And what is sleep drive? Sleep drive is like what appetite is for eating, sleep drive is for sleep. So sleep drive is like your body's want or need for sleep at any given moment. And that is like the gas in our sleep system. That's what makes us sleep. And the only thing that actually produces sleep drive, that makes us sleepy, is wakefulness. So the longer we stay awake, the more sleep drive we have. And that's the gas in our sleep system. And without any gas in the sleep system, sleep is not going to happen, regardless of how effortless we are. Now, the other condition is that there is no other source of hyperarousal. And when I say other, I'm talking to you as somebody who has been trying things to fall asleep fast. And all that trying to fall asleep fast has in all likelihood led to this hyperarousal, some nervousness, because it hasn't been working and you're wondering why, and you've been trying things, right? And that creates this kind of like this hypervigilant state, like this worried state. And that leads to this like heightened state of arousal in our mind that we call hyperarousal. And that hyperarousal is like the break in our sleep system, what keeps us from sleeping. So if you heard this video and you're like, oh, I don't need to do anything to sleep, I can just go to bed without intent of making that happen. Well, if there are other things than trying to make yourself fall asleep fast that are kind of on your mind, well, that can also keep yourself from falling asleep. Like if you're worried about your kids, or you're excited about something that's going to happen tomorrow or something like that, well, of course, then even if you're not intending to make sleep happen, you may still be awake for a while for those, because there's these other sources of hyperarousal. Now, the question here you may have is, okay, I understand how not trying, effortlessness, really leads us to fall asleep quickly. But how do I become effortless? Like, how do I arrive there? And this is particularly for you if you've had what we call insomnia, if you've had this struggle with sleep, this ongoing fight with sleep, a battle with sleep, and you've tried a million things, nothing has worked, and that has just led you to try more things, and that hasn't worked, and you become disappointed and frustrated and angry, right? Then the question is like, okay, how do I even do that? How do I just like not deploy any effort? How do I not try? And the answer is that if you've had a struggle with sleep, this is not going to happen quickly or easily. It's not like you can just hear this and go like, oh, good, I don't have to try anything. Well done, Daniel. Like, you solved my insomnia. It's going to take a little bit more of like understanding what's been happening to you, and like a real deep understanding of what insomnia is and how to leave that struggle. But to start that, and to give you something like more practical, effortlessness happens to us when we are not attached to the outcome. So we become effortless when we're not attached to the outcome. And what I mean specifically here is that if we go to bed with an okayness to not fall asleep and an okayness to fall asleep, if both are like acceptable to us, then we can be effortless, because whatever happens is okay. Both being awake and falling asleep are okay, and that leads us to this effortless state of mind. And when you hear this, like, what really helps us not being attached to the outcome, then you may have a follow-up question, which is like, how do I become not attached to the outcome? How do I arrive at a place where it's okay for me to not fall asleep fast, to be awake? And I would say the answer there is by experiencing the outcome that we don't want and seeing that it is actually okay. We're fine. We're safe. So if you find yourself like going to bed and it takes you a long time to fall asleep, well, guess what? In a way, that is actually what we need to become effortless. Because if you experience not falling asleep fast, staying awake for quite a while, and you see that you're still safe, nothing happened to you, there's no harm done, you're still okay, then you can see that that's an acceptable outcome. And you can become non-attached to the outcome and effortless, and then you fall asleep very easily. And now I've told you, this is the effortless method, which leads us to fall asleep as fast as conditions allow, which leads me to kind of a final question to you. Do you want to fall asleep fast, or do you want to live a life that is light and unencumbered and easy? I think all of us would say, yeah, if I live a life that I really value and enjoy, it doesn't really matter how fast I fall asleep. And that's really a point I want to make here, because although I want to tell you how we do fall asleep fast, it is very tricky, because anything that we do, like with that intent and motivation, like, oh, I heard how to fall asleep fast, I'm going to try to do that, is going to lead us to not fall asleep fast. On the other hand, when we're like, it doesn't actually matter how fast I fall asleep, Millions of people live on this earth for whom it takes a long time to fall asleep, and it's not a problem for them. They read a book, they're just pondering and thinking, and they live a wonderful, meaningful, and joyful and easy life. Then you can arrive at a place where you're like, why should I try to chase falling asleep fast? And then paradoxically, you fall asleep, not fast, in an easy way, and it's not going to feel like it takes a long time. And that's really, really what matters. So hope this made a lot of sense to you. And thanks for joining this first frequently asked sleep questions. And welcome you to stay on and learn more here. And I look forward to seeing you soon again. Bye for now. Hi, it's me, Daniel. And I hope you really found a lot of value in the video you just saw. Now I have a question for you. Did you hit the like button? Did you leave a comment? If not, then please consider that, because that is what leads to people finding us, finding peaceful sleep and peace of mind and feeling like themselves again, and all the other wonderful things that come from understanding what insomnia is really all about. So yes, just hit that like button, leave a comment, and that will help so much. Thank you.